Hi, it's Cameron. I want to formally introduce myself and talk a little bit about why astrology can be such a helpful parenting tool. I am a mom myself. I've got a 7-year-old daughter, and being a lifelong student of astrology, I had the benefit of being able to look at her birth chart and see some basic tendencies and get an idea about what she most needs from me and her dad as we raise her and guide her to her hopefully highest adult potential. And so I had the idea about sharing this knowledge with other parents because it has been really helpful to me so far. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about what astrology can tell you about your kid and then what it can't tell you. So first of all, it's really helpful to understand that every kid is a kid no matter what. They're all going to have certain basic kid characteristics. They are dependent on us for their basic survival needs, but then also they are dependent on us for love and affection. As we all know, they want our attention and they want to play, and they're curious about the world around them. They want to explore. They don't really know what all the social rules are yet, so they are, sometimes wild in certain situations, and we are kind of teaching them the social etiquette and the rules and how to follow those things. So a kid is a kid no matter what time they were born. But if we know their astrology, we can see the specifics of who they are. And it's helpful to understand that astrology just follows the basic archetypes. And archetypes are passed down through the collective human experience, and we all carry them with us in our collective unconscious. And so each zodiac sign and each planet represents a certain archetypal energy. And knowing your child's astrology and learning the specifics can tell you a lot about what is most likely to come up for them in life. What are the things they're going to have to navigate? Because underneath that umbrella of childhood experience and expression is a unique individual. Your child is uniquely who they are. And that's why we want to use astrology as a tool for meeting your kid where they are with an acceptance of who they are, rather than trying to sort of fit them into a general mold. So if you think you want to use astrology as a parenting tool, it would definitely be good to read up on archetypes and understand what that means a little better, because that will help you to understand why astrology is so uncannily accurate once you get into the deeper studies of it. A lot of people know a little bit about pop psychology. They read their horoscope in the newspaper. But those of us who have delved a little deeper know that there's so much more to it than that. So, for instance, your child's moon sign and the house position it occupies and the planets aspecting it are going to tell you a lot about what they need to feel secure, to get their emotional needs met, how they bond, their attachment style. It'll tell you a lot about any sort of innate insecurities they have, regardless of the household they're growing up in, and how you can sort of meet those needs to help ameliorate the insecurities and the impact on their life. Their Mercury sign is going to tell you a lot about how they communicate, how they learn. It's going to tell you a lot about how to best communicate with them and how to say things in such a way that they land, because you're kind of speaking their language. You're kind of tuning into their frequency a little more. And it's especially helpful if your own communication style, your own emotional needs differ from your child's communication style and needs. And now you have to sort of tune in and adjust your approach a little bit to meet them there. And it can just help take some of the guesswork out of parenting. I think that's the thing that is so beneficial for using astrology as a parenting tool is that when we're forearmed with this information, we can adapt ourselves and kind of meet certain parenting dilemmas with just a greater understanding of what's at play in the child's personality. So it's really important to meet your child where they are as an individual, and that's what the birth chart is going to be able to tell you. But the big caveat is that no matter what kind of childhood someone has, their free will reigns supreme. I really do believe that, and I approach astrology through that lens of a person's free will, and that they're ultimately going to be the ones to make that choice. But if you have some understanding of how they're going to how they tend to express themselves, and astrology will talk about, the binary, which is, life on Earth, our human existence. We have positive and negative expressions of every sign of every planet. So when you know that, you can try to guide your child towards that more positive expression of the planetary energy. But beyond that, it's up to them and their free will. We all have seen examples of someone who had a really rough beginning in life, hard childhood, lots of adversity, and they just somehow turn that adversity into strength and just have been able to overcome it and make a really good life for themselves. And it's so incredibly inspiring. And then I think we've all seen examples of a kid who was raised in a loving home, but they can't handle stress, they can't really handle their adulthood responsibilities, even if their parents gave them every benefit that we can think of. So that is why the free will piece is what's so important, and that's what knowing your child's birth chart cannot tell you. But if you think you want to use astrology as a tool to understand your child better, feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I can help you with that. You can reach me through my website, mychildastrology.com, or you can check out my YouTube channel, My Child Astrology, where I'm building an online catalog as a reference for parents, just to go in and delve more deeply into each zodiac sign and how each planet expresses in that sign. And I really hope that this can be a helpful resource for parents. And let me know if you have any questions or thoughts to share. Just feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks.